Hey, how are you?
Hi, Avery. Hanna with TDC. How are you?
Pleasure to meet you. Good.
Nice
How
to
are
meet
you?
Too. I'm good. Thank you for asking. You mind if I take a seat?
Please do.
Thanks. I appreciate it. So, I was actually on LinkedIn right before our meeting, and I saw it's coming up on your 25 years.
Yeah,
so congrats on that.
Yeah, exciting.
Tell me how you liked it so far.
I loved it. I started here right out of college and just had a great time. I love the opportunity to work with customers and clients and work with our sales team and make sure that we deliver the sweetest possible value to the customers.
Of course. No, definitely. That's great to hear. I also saw that you were previously an intern too here as well.
Yeah.
So you've been here since college then.
Since college time. I started in college as an intern and then right out of college was fortunate enough to get hired on. I can't believe 25 years has already flown by.
Time flies when you're having fun, so that is all that matters.
Yeah,
Definitely understand that, but great to hear. I do want to thank you, though, today for spending time to speak with me, and just want to confirm that we do still have 15 minutes today.
Yeah, about 15 minutes is about the time we have today.
Perfect. That sounds great to me.
Good.
I'm also going to give you my business card, too, just in case you have any questions after. We'll keep it clear line. Sounds good. So, I know we had spoke previously on the phone a little bit, but I did have the opportunity to meet Corey.
Yeah.
He has been a huge help to me in assisting me with the 5K we have going on at the Ability Center.
Yeah.
And he actually revealed to me that Pineapple Events is having, a little bit of copier and printer issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, so, the cool thing with Pineapple Events, obviously, we're dealing with a lot of major clients in the area, the university, hospitals, all kinds of things. We're doing great events, golf events, alumni events. I love to talk about it. It's a great, like I said, and we really like to deliver the sweetest experience to our clients as possible. And we have been having some issues with our current printing, and it's really causing us some problems.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the purpose of me being here today is to really understand not only your role and your responsibilities, but to also understand a little more about how that printing situation, the copier situation, is affecting you and your company at work. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So just so we can stay on time, too, I'll just set a brief agenda.
Okay.
So what we'll do today, as I just mentioned, we'll go over your role, your responsibilities, kind of the printer situation all together, how these are affecting you, and lastly, to determine if a partnership between TDC and Pineapple Events, would make sense.
Okay.
If it would make sense, I would ask for some additional time at a later date for us to just discover that a little further. Does that sound fair to you?
That sounds very fair.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, let's go ahead and get started. One thing that I do love to start my meetings with, though, is just asking about what the decision-making process looks like and where do you fall into that?
Yeah, so I'm in the operations component. So I'm kind of your first line of defense, if you will, where I get in and really understand what's going on. And then, we have marketing people as well, but really the next person would be Emerson Vera, who's the VP of Client Experience.
Perfect.
He'll be really the key decision maker. He and myself would really make sure that we'd be making any decisions around making any copier changes at this point in time.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that with me. So it sounds like you work pretty collaboratively with Emerson.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. He's as passionate as I am about delivering to the customers.
Of course, definitely. Getting the sweetest events too. So I totally understand.
Yep. Right.
So let's start today. Give me a little bit of a rundown on what specifically you do within working in operations here, and what are some of the responsibilities you have in your role?
Yeah. So with me, with operations, obviously everything as the definition, just making sure that everything runs smoothly. I'm involved with making sure that our people that are procuring the material that we're printing on, that we're getting all that the printers are operating and functional. I interface with the vendor that's working with us with the printers.
Okay.
I'm the one that's going to have to handle if we have any issues or the printers go down for any reason. Those are not the fun parts of it, but those are the things that I need to be involved in.
Exactly. Not so glamorous, but the things that have to be done in order to move the boat along. So
absolutely.
Definitely understand that. So thank you for sharing that with me as well. Let's actually dig in a little bit too. It sounds like a very big portion of your role is, really working with not only the materials you're using to print on, but those vendor relationships, and making sure everything's, working optimal in terms of time and efficiency too.
Yep.
Let's run into a little bit, what's the current situation looking like right now with the copier? Give me a little bit more of a clearer picture.
Yeah, so right now we have really two copiers that we have. We have a desktop copier, and then we have our console.
Okay.
And I really like to say our consoles are workhorse.
Of course.
That's where the biggest volume of our print material goes through. And that's actually the printer that we're having a little bit of issues with.
Perfect.
We print on all kinds of material, whether it be cardstock, posters, you name it. That's one of biggest things about Pineapple, we're able to deliver what the customer's requirements and needs are. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of what we're doing with our print right there. And again, we print a lot, so it's really critical, critical component.
Understand that, definitely. I would like to ask you too. You mentioned that console's really the workhorse for you right now, and it's pretty large volumes. Do you have an estimate right now of how many you're doing monthly by chance?
Yeah, I actually have some data here that as I was preparing for the meeting. So black and white volume monthly, we're doing over 70,000. Approximately 70,000 pieces.
Okay.
And our color monthly volume's 50,000 pieces.
Gotcha. So quite a bit.
Yeah. So you can see that that's really the workhorse. Yep.
And you also mentioned to me too that you're putting on different materials too. Whether that be cardstock or letterhead, things like that. Absolutely. Is everything flowing smoothly with that process with your copy, or are you finding some issues there too?
Well, that's part of the problem we're running into is that we're some of the material that we need to print out for our salespeople to put together a portfolio to bring to a prospective client. We're getting some wrinkling and kind of crinkling of the material that's coming out of the console printer, and it's not to the quality that we need or expect, and I think it's potentially hurting our opportunities to give the clients the sweetest experience.
No, I can definitely see how that would be an issue. I'd love to ask a little further though too. When these issues happen and when you're having to give a client when it's like a wrinkled paper or something like that, I know Pineapple Events is very well known for the reputation. How do you think it kind of affects the reputation of the company when things like that happen?
Oh, it definitely damages the opportunity, the reputation. It also damages our opportunity to potentially land good, new prospective clients, but existing clients, if we can't deliver them the top-notch, best product that they expect, then they're going to look elsewhere, and we can't afford to have that happen.
Okay. I'd also like to ask, too, if you could dig a little deeper for me as well. So going into that, what would, the perfect printer look like for you guys right now?
Perfect printer would be one that I wouldn't have to be calling to get people to come in to fix, or we'd have issues dealing with the situation that we have today. And the perfect situation is being able to have somebody be responsive and get in. I know we only have 2 printers, but, wanted to make sure that if we call, we have an opportunity to get taken care of immediately, so that we don't have any downtime.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about what happens when one of those printers go down. What does that process look like?
It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
because
I can imagine.
If it goes down, then we have to stop all of our production. We have major clients that are waiting. We have timelines that we need to meet.
Gotcha.
Then I need to get in a technical person from the printer company to come in to handle it, address what's going on. And then that's a real concern too. Is it covered under warranty? Is not, and that's another big issue.
Exactly. And how long does it take for somebody to come out to look at those?
Well, that's been part of the frustration. Sometimes they say 24-hour service, but
it's more like 4-day service, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's unacceptable for what we need.
I totally understand that as well too. And dig a little deeper for me in terms of how is this affecting sales? Do you think when that printer is down, and you mentioned you were doing about 70,000 black and white copies a month. How is that really affecting workflow?
Well, if it goes down, the printer goes down, it backlogs all of our existing business. It stops us from going out and going after prospective new business. So, if you're not right there on the spot for the new business, our competitors will get in there and we lose that opportunity to somebody else. And so that could cost us $10,000 to $15,000 in a loss per prospective client.
So $10,000 to $15,000, you think, when that goes down?
I think so, yeah.
So quite a bit, definitely. I can see how that would significantly affect things.
Yeah.
How does that work in terms of, when you have a deadline that you're trying to meet with one of your customers, one of your clients, and you have that dead time, maybe it's not 48 hours until someone can come out and help. Not only is that affecting the $10,000 to $15,000 you're losing there, but how is that affecting your relationship with the client?
Oh, it definitely damages the relationship with the client. It hurts us, and then it puts me in a foul mood because then I need to argue with our current vendor on, who's paying for what. Right? That becomes another whole part of the problem.
I definitely understand that. Well, I do want to thank you for sharing all of that with me today. Some of the key things I've kind of taken away so far. So it sounds like we're really wanting to look for a copy that's going to have very quick response time in terms of whatever vendor you decide to select with. Making sure that, it is within that 24 hours. And even before that, that's incredibly important. Sounds. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. Another thing I had found is really making sure we keep that reputation on top. We want to maintain the reputation of Pineapple Events and make sure that we're keeping optimal opportunity. And for that, we need to increase the efficiency of the copiers right now. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. And then lastly, it sounds like, we're really just trying to create opportunity in terms of income and increasing those sales. You said it yourself that you're losing 10 to 15 when Avia copier goes down. How often do they go down as well? I'd love to know that.
Shoot. I mean, this one recently with our one printer has gone down at least 3 times in the last 3 months.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, it's been a problem.
Gotcha, okay.
And, with that, I want to make sure we stay on top of it, have the latest and greatest, because we're trying to deliver the latest and greatest and to really drive that wow factor for the customer.
Of course. No, I definitely understand that. So thank you for sharing that with me. I really do appreciate it. And I do thank you for your transparency. But I'm really happy that we had the opportunity to talk today, and thank you again for taking your time. But as you know, I'm from TDC. So TDC, we specifically work with Pick and Tejon copiers and printers. And the 3 things we really pride ourselves on are not only saving time for people, but also improving, improving revenue generation, as well as enabling process automation. Those are 3 things that, correlate directly with that response time that you were mentioning. Wanting to increase those sales, you're losing $30K in 3 months. That is absolutely wild, and we want to make sure you can save that money. As well as just maintaining your, reputation, making things are working efficiently. So with that being said, I'm very confident that we have a couple different copier models right now that could definitely help you out. So I did actually bring some paperwork with me today.
Okay.
So, let me go in here for you.
I'm not looking to buy, strictly looking to lease.
Yeah, no, that is definitely okay, and that's definitely an option we can talk about. But I'd love to tell you a little bit more about how, TDC and specifically PIC could be a great opportunity for you, depending on which lease you go with.
Okay.
So with that being said, some things you mentioned to me that you're printing a lot of different types of paper, correct?
Yeah.
So we actually offer a single sheet bypass, which allows you to go ahead, you have one client letter, let's say it has to go on letterhead. You're not having to take out that entire, box of paper, and you can put in that single sheet, whether it be cardstock, letterhead, anything like that. Really, ups that process automation and can really optimize workflow. Can you see how that would, benefit?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's that, you have time down, switching back and forth. So, I would see that definitely be a time saver.
No, definitely glad to hear that. Another thing you had mentioned to me as well is, that response time. Right now, you're waiting more than 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours, and you're losing 10 to 15K every time, which is absolutely wild. So we definitely want to be able to help you with that, and I'm very confident that here at TDC we have some products that can help you. So with that being said, we actually do offer less than 24-hour response time. We're local to the Toledo area, which is great. And most of the time, we can be out within, 3 to 4 hours when it comes to something like that. Another really interesting fact as well is we actually have modular technology in our PIC model. So with that being said, if there were to be an issue that would occur, you could actually take out that section of the copier and replace it immediately. It's all independent, so you wouldn't even need to have a representative come out. You'd be able to self-diagnose, which is absolutely amazing, and a lot of our clients enjoy. Can you see how that would be a benefit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would save time, because that's a big concern, is the labor and the, what is all covered under warranty, and if we have those modular components, that would make it definitely much easier.
No, I definitely understand that. I'm glad to hear that you can see the benefit as well. Lastly, you mentioned to me that you're doing about 70,000 black and white copies right now, and you're kind of struggling right now trying to keep up with that because of all the issues that you're handling currently. So with the past 2 things we've talked about, including the response time and including the modular technology, we actually have one model in particular that I think would be very beneficial for you, and that would be our PIV 500. So that being said, that actually goes up to 90,000 copies per month.
Good. That gives us an opportunity to grow.
Exactly. So not only are you, not losing that time, losing that 30K every 3 months, but you're able to even increase your workflow even more right now. Can you see how that could bring more opportunity to Pineapple events?
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt.
So with that being said, I'm really glad that we could cover some of these things today. And you had mentioned to me in the beginning of our meeting that the next person in line was going to be Emerson, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. So you mentioned to me that you're not looking to buy today, but you are looking to somewhat lease, and that Emerson does play a large role in the decisions. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Perfect. So how would you feel if we were able to set up a time with Emerson next week? I know I can see, and I'm very confident in the fact that we could definitely bring some optimization into Pineapple events, and I'm sure you can see that as well. How would you feel moving forward?
Well, good. But I do want to ask, what? We've had issues with distribution in the past, and I really like to work with people that are referred to us.
Of course.
I know you had a chance to meet with Corey.
Yes.
But my biggest concern is why can't I buy direct, or what would be the benefit of because we've had issues with the distributor today.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that, and I'm very sorry that you're currently having issues with the distributor that you're currently with. I hope it is some consolation for you, though. The fact that, we work directly through sales reps like myself and working in this type of pattern is specifically for me to be the biggest advocate for you. I'm specifically here to help you, and if there were to be anything, go wrong or anything like that, not only do we have the technology already in place for you to self-diagnose it, but I'm here to educate your staff on how to use them and be that number one resource. Does that seem to,
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So with that being said, would you feel comfortable moving forward with Emerson potentially next week on Tuesday?
Sure, that'd be good.
Perfect. I'd love
Perfect.
to do that.